Hello and welcome back everyone. So thanks for showing so much love on our US visa video. So we made this just sharing our understanding from the last time we have gone through that process. It was a long process. So we thought of sharing multiple things, how to book, how to go through an interview, how to prepare, how to fill the form, and multiple other things that we learned on the process we thought of sharing. And it was astounding help to a lot of folks. We saw so many comments, so many likes on that video, and so many of you also have reached out with certain specific questions, and at that time we realized we probably need a round 2 of that video, a Q&A roundup kind of a thing where we pick up questions which are unique, which requires an explanation not only to the person who has asked but possibly who have seen our first part of the video. So this is going to be a roundup of the first video which we have detailed out the entire process. This is specifically on the questions that we have got on the YouTube comments, questions we have got on directly on our WhatsApp, on our Instagram DM, in multiple other forums wherever we have shared those videos. So if you have not gone through that video, please go through that video first, because that's where your most of questions will be answered if you are listening for this for the first time, or you have gone through that earlier, then you can follow this video where we will talk about multiple questions. We choose around 18 questions which we thought we should be covering for the benefit of a larger group of folks who are listening to us. So let's get started. So to answer to this question, you don't need to take your DS160 confirmation and go to a bank to make the payment. In the portal of US visa for form filling portal, I'll again give the link in the description box, you can see. So in that portal, once you fill the form, you have to pay online. So there is a pay online option, and in that option you have to give your DS160 confirmation number. You can make the payment online. There are multiple ways you can make the payment online. You can add the US Embassy bank account as a third party in your existing bank account and do an NEFT, or there are other ways to do that. We did through NEFT. So, and then you get a confirmation message that your payment has been successful. And then from there you will be able to go ahead and book the slots. You don't need to take it to any bank physically and make the payment and do a DD challan, not any sort of that. It's very much online. You can go ahead and make the payment right after your DS160 confirmation is done. Only when you make the payment you will be able to book the slots. You cannot book the slots before making the payment. And one more important thing here, since when you make the payment, your validity is typically for 1 year. You have to book the slot within 1 year from making the payment. So let's say you have paid it today, which is on, when I'm shooting this video, around 19th of February. Slot is valid till 18th of 2025. You have to book the slot within that. Your slot may be of let's say May 2025, that doesn't matter, but you have to book the slot or block the slot before 18th February 2025. So most of the time you will get a slot, you will be able to book the slot before that. Your actual interview may be much farther beyond a year. The same case was for us. We booked the payment, we made the payment around May 2022 and we booked the slot somewhere around July 2022, but we got a slot for August 2023. But we booked it within a 1 year period of making the payment, and actual slot may be beyond that, so that's not a problem. Let's go to the next question. This question is also very similar. You have booked the form, and after you book the form, once you log in with your user ID password, you should be able to see manage applications, and within that you should be able to find out on how to make the payment online. Again, since we have already made the payment, I will not be able to show you directly on the portal, but if I can manage to get a screenshot, I'll be able to paste it here. So you will be getting a pay online kind of a link or make payment kind of a link. You can do that, and then you can book the slots directly. And also remember one thing, the DS160 form fill up portal and the payment and slot booking portal are different. So your DS160 form fill up, you will fill it online, then you go to the US travel doc site, the link that is given in the description box. You can log in there, and then you, with that DS160 application confirmation number, you will be able to get access to the payment link and slot booking. This is a very important question. So every person going together alone does not matter. Every person, every individual has to fill DS160 form separately. So each person should have their own DS160 application number. While booking the interview payment or paying for that, you can make the payment together, or you can, even if you can make the payment separately, but if you can make the payment together, you do that, and then you, while booking the slot, you can add your wife or any other person going with you as a dependent. Does not necessarily mean this dependent means that person going with you has to be sponsored by you as well. That person being dependent as in you two together is applying so that your interview happens together. So you are booking one slot for 2% kind of a thing. Again, I'm not sure, the portal is currently renewed, so in the new portal you may not be able to make payment together, but while booking the slot you can add someone as a dependent with by calling their DS160 application number as a reference. You will be able to book the slot together for one interview so that both of you go together in the interview. But application number or DS160 number has to be unique for every person applying, or every person. So to book them as a dependent, you, while booking the slot, again, if I get a screenshot, I'll be able to show you. The idea here is, when you are making the payment, after making the payment, when you are booking the slot, you have to add other person as a dependent, and then together you need 2 slots. So basically you have to book one time zone, one time, but in that time it will be given to both of you, so both of you will be going together. So for both for biometric and for interview, you don't have to book separately. You book one slot for biometric, that will cover both of you. You book one slot for interview at the consulate, that will cover both of you. So it's one slot each you have to book, but it will be for 2 person. Okay, it's a very valid question. Most of the US visa, tourist visa or visitor visa is approved for 10 years, but that does not mean you can stay there for 10 years or you can absolutely start working over there. This is not a working visa, this is a business/tourist visa. So it's basically a short-term visit visa. So the idea here is, you will go to the country, you will do your work, visit the country, or do your business meetings or whatever reason you are into the country, and you will come out. So the idea here is, this is not a citizenship or not a permanent residency kind of a visa. Here you will be able to stay at max 180 days at a stretch. So let's say 180 days is over, you have to leave the country and again re-enter. You can enter on the 182nd day, does not matter, but after 180 days or before 180 days are over, you have to leave the country and then again re-enter, and then your clock starts again. But you can do that multiple times, but the idea here is you cannot stay more than 6 months without leaving the country. No, so here in this question, I would suggest show the university name first. So the latest institute that you have passed with, you should show that, and then you can add. Typically, and add other institutes. So basically, but in the address section, don't show other address or give names of other schools or colleges. First add, let's say you have done a post-graduation, let's first give that, then you can add for others, and then you can add for graduation, then you can add for school. But and again, in the address, give the actual address of that particular institute for which you are filling that particular section. So you put post-graduation university name, post-graduation university address, again graduation name, graduation college name, college address, school name, school address. So you can add that, but don't put everything into the address section of another institute. Yeah, you have done it right. You have to fill DS160 form separately. So if 4 person traveling together as a family, also they have to fill 4 DS160 forms. So there is no way you can fill 1 DS160 form. But while booking the slot, like I mentioned, you can add them as a dependent, and while adding them as a dependent, you will be able to book one single slot where you all go together for the interview, and one single slot where you will all go together for the biometric. So slot booking is possible by adding them as a dependent, but DS160 you have to fill separately only for each person going to applying for a visa. A lot of questions on this, how to make a group booking. So here also you can, all 3 of you as a family, you just need to add one person. You should be logging in with one person's ID, and add another 2 persons into that as dependent by referring their DS160 application number. So 3 of you together can book one single slot for visa interview, consulate interview, and the biometric. For monthly income, you can add the net salary. That's what makes sense, because that's what is your in hand. So basically, by making net salary, it does not matter much, because gross and net pay, there is not much difference, but in terms of from a visa point of view. But you can preferably you add the net salary, so that because salary is needed to show that you have enough cash with you to sponsor your trip to US. So if you show net, I think that's what is more justified, because that's what you get in hand and that's what you will be able to spend also. So that is a good benchmark to extrapolate whether you have enough money with you, or you are capable enough to sponsor your trip in US. Yeah, this is a very important question, Shashank. So we also face this same issue. Like we said, we finished our application around April. We made our payment in May. This is around 2022. But we were not getting any slot. We got a slot, we got a booking or the slot availability earliest in July 2022, but the slot earliest was available in almost September 2023. So you can see the difference. So the idea here is, while you are booking the DS160 form, you will fill a tentative date thinking you will get a slot within 6 months, or whatever is your travel date you think, you put that. If you don't get a slot before that, obviously you will not be knowing while filling DS160 whether you will get a slot before your intended travel date or not. If you don't get a slot, and let's say you get a slot after your intended travel date, then closer to the actual interview date in the embassy, before going to the biometric, 1 week before typically, you recall there is an option to retrieve the DS160 application number. You can retrieve that DS160 form, make edits in them and submit. So then you get a new DS160 number. So let's say you got DS160 number A at the beginning, with which you have done the slot booking, but let's say the slot is very far at a distance, very far away. So closer to that actual slot, when you are going for biometric and interview, 1 week before, you retrieve this DS160 form A and make changes. So you will get another DS160 confirmation number. Let's say that is DS160 form B. So, but again, the question can come, because while booking the slot, you have reference to DS160A, but you have now changed it to DS160B. The idea here is, you can go to the biometric center, which is typically before your interview, and say that this DS160B is your new application number, confirmation number, and they should be able to update their system against you. It will always refer to DS160B. So when you go for the interview, the consular has the DS160B only as a reference, and DS160A is removed from the system. So you may not be able to do it by yourself, but do the change. Ensure you will always have the updated information. So do the change 1 week prior to your biometric date. Retrieve the application, make the change, get the new DS160 confirmation number, and with that, take a printout and show that in the biometric to update their system and make your profile pointing towards the new DS160 confirmation number. So the consular has the latest one. So that's the process we also followed. That's the process we can suggest you can do. So while going for biometric, there is a locker system available. You can pay, I think, 50 or 100 bucks, and you can put them in the locker. But then again, you cannot put everything. You can possibly put mobile or wallet, not a luggage itself. So don't carry anything. You have to pay and keep it. But while for interview, there is absolutely no mobile, no wallet, nothing, not even a pen apart from your document. You should be carrying. So you can carry a pen obviously, but nothing, no extra item, not even mobile or wallet is advised to be carried when you are going for the interview. So if you are carrying, obviously if you are coming from far, you have to carry. So there is a system outside. Obviously it's not controlled or governed. So there is few autowalas who basically keep everything in an auto, but they charge you a bomb. They charge possibly 2,000. I think last time they charged our friend 2,000 per person for a wallet and a mobile. And now you can understand how costly it is to keep it with them. And obviously they are trustable, they are trustworthy. There is nothing has been lost or something has been reported. But again, you have to keep your wallet or mobile randomly with some ungoverned setup. So be wary of that. And specifically for our case, we have not carried anything. We had not carried not a single mobile, not a single wallet. Both of us just took few cash in pocket and went by booking an auto from our hotel, and that auto only took us back. So that's the arrangement we did. We did not carry anything. But if you are carrying these other systems, specifically for the interview, you are not allowed to carry anything, absolutely anything apart from your document inside the premise. Now, this is a very important question. So when you are going for an interview, you can absolutely give interview in your mother tongue, but that does not mean all the languages of India will be available. Typically, if you are going in a Chennai consulate, you will have an option of giving it in Hindi, Malayali, Tamil, Telugu, somewhere the language around the south, prominent language around the south, not every language around the south. Similarly, if you are going in, let's say, Kolkata embassy, you will possibly have a Bengali as an option, but there you may not have a Tamil or Telugu as an option. So basically, it's a Hindi, English plus few regional language will be supported. So that way but if you are proficient in Hindi, you will be able to give interview in Hindi across all the consulates in India. But there will be a translator along with the consular. So normally when we give it in English, we were talking one-on-one with the consular. But if you are having a translator with you who is helping you to translate what consular is saying or what you are saying, that translator will be sitting or accompanying the consular for you. So, but yeah, bottom line is you can give. Okay, so first, bank statement and fund we have carried as a proof. They have not asked typically to us, but we have seen for a lot of folks while we are waiting for the interview, they have asked to show the bank statements. So it's always advisable to carry bank statements, funds, any investments you have. Bank statements has to be stamped and signed by the bank, then only it is considered a valid one. So you carry all that. And in terms of the other question that you have, for a fresh passport is absolutely fine. It's a 10-year visa, so most of our current passport will expire. So if you have a fresh passport, you can carry the old passport with you wherever you are going, and that visa will be counted as valid. So you have to carry both the passports, and that's how you should be handling it. And also by fresh passport, if you are trying to say that you have not traveled before and there is no stamp in your passport, and from that point angle if you're trying to say it is a fresh passport, we did not have any first-hand reference for where you got a tourist visa with a fresh passport. All of our friends who got the visa approved, they had a travel history. Even we also being asked this question, how many countries you have traveled earlier. But let's say you are visiting someone or you have a relative staying over there, we have seen people getting in a fresh passport, but that does not mean we don't have enough sample or examples that we can quote that obviously fresh passport is not enough for getting a visa. It's absolutely fine if you have a solid reason why you are going to US and why without going anywhere you are going first to US. You should have this answer ready. And also, what is your reason to come back to India? If you have this construct ready, it will not be a problem even if you have a fresh passport. That's what we believe. There is no requirement of having a travel history as per that given checklist. So if you have your, like I said, if you have your case ready properly, you should be able to get within with a fresh passport as well. A bank statement and FD has to be stamped and signed by the bank. So you take a printout, go to the bank, they will stamp and sign, and that will be considered as valid, not a normal printout without statement. Yeah, this is a classic case. It has happened with us also. My wife's surname is actually not my surname, so and her passport does not contain my name. Her passport contains her father's name as a guardian. I have renewed my passport after our marriage, so my passport contains my wife's name, but her passport does not. But having said that, we carried marriage certificate, and that's the most legal proof you have in India for your marriage. So if you have your marriage certificate, that's the best thing. And a lot of folks don't change their names, and that's completely up to the person to person. So even if your wife does not have your name as a surname in her passport, or even your name added as a husband name in her passport, it's absolutely fine. Carry a marriage certificate and that will act as a proof. Now, this is the exact question we answered earlier. So if you're like, my passport is due expiry somewhere around 2030, but my visa is still 2032. So 2033 I think, so 2033. But having said that, if my passport is expired, and I will be getting a new passport from the passport office, but my old passport will also be given back to me, and that old passport will have this visa, and everywhere I go I have to carry both the passports. Specifically if I go to US, I have to carry both the passports, saying that this is the current one and this is the older one, and the older one has the visa which is valid till a future date, or with the date traveling has been covered within the visa duration. So basically carry both the passports in a future cases, but it's absolutely fine. It is not a matter of concern if your passport page is over or you have to renew your passport and the older passport has US visa, because you will almost all cases you will get a passport back from Passport Seva Kendra, so your old passport is always with you. Yeah, interview pay, you can go as a couple, absolutely fine, and one person can think that okay, I will speak. Like for our cases, I started speaking, but if some question has been asked to your partner, they have to answer. Let's say for example, they have asked us why you want to go to US. First I answered, Rupali was standing just next to me. And then the next one, how many countries you have traveled? I said I traveled, let's say X number of countries. Rupali said she traveled to Y number of countries. So basically if answer is different, the expectation is both persons should speak. Let's say then the question was, where do you work? So I said I work in ThoughtWorks. Rupali said she works in PwC. So every answer has been asked, every question has been asked. If it is an answer which is different for both the person, and then expectation is both of you should answer. If it is a common question like why you going to US, how you are going to sponsor your trip, so all that, or what are the places in US you want to go, why you will be coming back, we think you will be coming back to India. So all these normal questions which is the answer is same for both of you, one person can answer. So Ankita, if you have finished the form 3 months before, it's perfectly fine. Your form is still valid. You can use the form, but before getting the interview scheduled, you have to make the payment. Unless you make the payment, you will not be able to see the slots available. So you can make the payment and start looking for slots. Ensure, like I said, you have to book the slot within 1 year of your fee payment. The actual slot can be beyond 1 year of your fee payment, but the slot booking, the blocking of the slot should happen within 1 year from the payment of the fee. So अगर आपका passport हम लोगों ने रख लिया, तो that's a very good sign. That basically means your visa is approved. So once they keep your passport, they say you will get the passport within 7 days. You don't need any insurance, nothing. So it's their responsibility, and they send it through Blue Dart, and it's 100% cases it will come back to you within 7 days. Or somewhere, depends on where you stay, it may take a little more. So ये था सारा questions का answers which we thought. Obviously we haven't taken all the questions, but we have taken all the different type of questions, and questions those we thought will be helpful for everyone. But even if you have more questions which you think we have not answered, please feel free to drop a comment, and please like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next video.